24, Live Another Day, episode 5 is over, but we're just getting started here on 24 Live on post-show recaps. And now, here are the two guys who are getting very nervous because we just heard Ian has learned how to podcast. It's Rob Cesternino and Josh Wigler. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
I'm scared. I'm hiding out. I don't trust that. I feel like we could be shot in the forehead at any minute.
Yeah. Naveed, this was... Once you open your mouth tonight, this was, a culmination for Naveed. And you know what? This guy had to come in because he does not learn from anything.
I think I said a couple weeks ago this guy was either going to, become some sort of pawn in Jack Bauer's game of getting at Margot, or he was just going to get shot in the face. And he just got shot in the face. I'm fine with that. See you later, Naveed. Let's move on to more important stuff.
Yeah, this Naveed, it was like one dumb move after the next. Could we just recount the number of dumb things Naveed did over the course of 5 episodes?
Yeah, well, first off, he's very bad in the sack.
Yes, that was one of the things that he did badly.
Let's make fun of him for that.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's this code that he put into the video that totally gets blown out.
That was bad. It was also bad when he told Simone the plan that he wanted to run away and go for that. That was also bad. Probably also bad idea to get involved in this whole I'm going to pilot drones to commit terrorist activity. Seems like nobody was holding a gun to his head early on there.
Yeah, and frankly, probably bad to marry Simone.
Yeah, that's probably seems like a bad deal on a number of accounts. One, he marries this girl whose mom is going to go pimp her out to go and steal devices. So basically, your wife is going to go prostitute herself and go try to steal and kill other people while you're not around. And then she comes back and then basically is also going to sell you out to her terrorist mom left and right. And then ultimately... she basically says, pretty much go kill him.
Yeah, she really turned around on that pretty quick, Simone. She was pretty okay with killing Naveed at the end.
Yeah, she was sort of,
I think she came around to what we were saying.
Do you think that she... Yeah, he sucks. Do you think, though, that she felt like, oh, you know what, Naveed, kick him to the curb, or she felt like, boy, if I say anything about, hey, don't kill Naveed, then I'm going to get something else cut off?
No, I don't know. I think at that point, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I feel like on 24, you totally, historically, you would see Simone make the move to be like, no, you can't kill Naveed, and then she would get shot and killed as well. I feel like that's a thing that happens on this show a lot. So I was actually kind of surprised they didn't go in that direction. So her being on board with Margot shooting Naveed was a little bit of a surprise to me, but in thinking about it, I do think she probably just came to the same conclusion, which is, I could probably do better.
All right, well, so we're going to recap everything from tonight's show. Of course, we're live right now on postshowrecaps.com. Josh and I are in the chat room following what you guys are saying. Plus, we've got our Twitter open. You can use the hashtag PSRecaps. And then also on our YouTube channel, you can post comments directly on this video at postshowrecaps.com/YouTube. And, of course, this is interactive. We're going to take all of your questions here tonight as we recap a big night. We had a Jack and Audrey reunion. We had a Jack and President Heller reunion. And so lots of stuff ultimately leading into a big setup, would you say? Is that the right word? Where the CIA, bunch of CIA red shirts end up getting blown up.
It's kind of a cliffhanger. It would be more of a cliffhanger if I kind of cared about anybody whose lives were in the balance right now. I guess I like Eric. I think Eric's a good character.
Did Navarro make it out?
I don't know. I said online that when they send the field ops director, when they send the CIA director, the CTU director, anybody who's a desk job character, when that guy goes out on the field, that guy's dead almost every time, or horribly injured. Something bad happened. So if he's alive, if Benjamin Bratt is alive, he is badly wounded, would be my guess.
So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly if he made it okay. He got out of the building and was sort of like, hey, where's that guy? And then I saw Eric, and I'm not sure if I saw Navarro.
You see Eric. Eric seems to be fine. Navarro you didn't really see, but both of them were in the shot when there's like the big fireball that kind of bursts at the screen, but they're closest to us, so they seem to be furthest away from the blast, so they might be okay. But we did see Eric walking around afterwards, and we didn't see Navarro walking around. So
Okay.
that might be lights out for Navarro. In his defense, I would say that this takes Navarro off of Mole Patrol for me.
Why? Because he went into the building that was going to be attacked?
Yeah, he went into the belly of the beast. I don't think that he would have done that if he was with the drones.
Yeah, I don't think that there was any mole activity with this because basically they fell for the trick of Ian Al-Harazi.
Well, I still think that this could be some Bad Milo action going on. I'm still putting Bad Milo as my number one mole choice.
On Jordan.
Jordan Reed. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he wasn't he the guy who discovered the trace in the video?
He did. That's true.
So what if he's leading them to the wrong spot?
I mean, that's possible. That it certainly is. He would probably be mole suspect number one as far as that side goes, if we're not counting Mark. But I think that he is certainly in the CIA world. Seems like the number one contender. But I don't feel like there's a smoking gun yet on him.
I don't think there's a smoking gun yet, but I think that if that ends up being the reveal, I think you could look back and you will see a lot of instances where it connects that this guy is the mole.
Okay, let's get into talking about some things from this episode and sort of how we got to this point. And so we start off tonight, Josh, with Jack being sort of roughed up by the army guys over Jack's escapades from last week.
Yeah, they were not thrilled to have been shot at. That wasn't fun for them.
They didn't like that, but it turns out that Kate Morgan is really pulling the wool over their eyes because she has the flight key, and her and Jack are in cahoots.
Yeah, I liked that move on Jack's part, kind of roughhousing them a little bit further just to kind of hurry Kate out of the room. I thought was good. Yeah, I like that. I like Kate and Jack as a team. I like Kate figuring out that Jack is probably pretty legit as far as what he's been talking about. So yeah, I thought that was really good.
So Kate is in constant communication with Chloe, and we have these two women have this great friendship is blooming, and so Kate says, "What do I do with the flight key?" Chloe says, "You need to get to a network on a computer on a 4G network." And I'm saying to myself, and a couple other people too, Johnny D. Silvera was tweeting me about this. Really, in the year 2022, the best we can hope for is 4G network?
Yeah, you'd think we'd be up to like 7G at this
7G,
point, right?
Want 7G, or at least 4G LTE.
Right. You need a little bit further than 4G.
Now, in fairness, she said that you have to at least get to a computer with 4G. So maybe there are computers with 5G, 6G.
24G?
I hope so. So then you would have to only at least get to a computer with 4G.
Yeah. I guess just, use what you got in the moment.
Yeah. So we have...
And also, I guess 4G is good in the car?
I
Like
guess
on the
so.
move? I don't know. I don't know about this.
So it ends up picking up the download. They're like at 72%, so the rest of the download ends up going, and Eric is really besides himself about this.
But he's still going along with it. I think Eric is really on Team Morgan at this point. Like he does not understand why she's doing the things that she's doing, but he just really, I don't know, he's compelled. He can't say no.
Yeah, he had ample opportunity to sell her out here, and he chose not to.
It's a real kind of about face for a guy who was straight up gunning for her job earlier in the day, could not wait for her to leave so that he could really just take over her role. And now he is 100% her second in command here. Like he's just like, all right, Kate, you seem to know what's going on. I'm just going to defer to you on everything.
All right, meanwhile, back at the Al-Harazi house, Simone is sort of licking her wounds after getting that finger cut off last week.
But not literally, because I feel like that would sting.
Yeah, and it's left hand ring finger, which I think is probably the finger that she would have had her wedding ring on, right?
Yes.
So that was a very smart move, that she can't even wear Naveed's ring anymore.
Maybe that was it. Like at that point, it's like, why bother?
Why bother?
If I don't have the ring finger, it doesn't count.
And Margot Al-Harazi is trying to cheer up Simone and saying, "Hey, don't blame yourself for this. This was my fault."
Yeah, and then 5 seconds later, blaming it all on stupid Naveed.
Yeah, and then it was all Naveed's fault.
It's a good move. I like that move.
Yeah, blame everything on Naveed. Every family needs a Naveed to sort of blame all their problems on.
If anything stupid happens in the rest of this season of 24, do you think it's still Naveed's fault?
Probably. Blame Naveed.
Yeah, I'm with that.
anything that happens.
Yeah.
And then after that, then Margot then goes and dresses down Naveed and basically puts him in his place.
Yeah, a mother should never have to watch her daughter go through something like that. Bad Naveed.
It's all your fault.
Naveed.
You ruined everything, Naveed.
You've screwed everything up. Yeah.
For the last time. Poor Naveed.
For almost the last time.
So Chloe, then we go back to the WikiLeaks headquarters, and Chloe and Adrian are going through the flight key data, and they see that here is the override code that basically backs everything up.
Yeah, Adrian Cross, pretty good at figuring that out pretty fast.
Yeah. And so basically Chloe has taken screenshots of this and she sends it around. And so basically now they have the smoking gun that the Lieutenant Tanner drone was indeed hijacked.
Right. Yeah, they figured it out. Problem solved, right? The whole season can end right now.
Well, we at least know what they're up to, but
Right.
the problem is we can't stop it. So now Navarro is able to have this information and says, "Get me President Heller on the phone." And he calls through, and Mark is trying to say, I could take this. He's like, I think it's best. I need to speak with the president. And so finally, President Heller gets apprised that Jack Bauer was right.
You know, this is the chickens coming home to roost for Mark Boudreau, because if he was just a little bit nicer to Steve Navarro in the hours before this, I bet Navarro would be like, hey, Mark, if you want to spin this however you'd like to spin this with Heller, here's the information, here's what's going on. You can go over there and you can kind of do some damage control so you don't look like such a twerp. But now Boudreau looks like a real butt-dro over there. He looks like a real jerk.
Yeah, he does, though, basically take responsibility, though. As maybe it was just a move to save face, but I do give him credit for, saying, you know what, you guys were right about Jack. I was just being stupid.
Do you think at this point he knows, like, man, I really screwed up, and Jack is totally going to screw my wife? Like, that's where we're going. That's where this is.
I don't think he suspects that yet.
You don't think so? You don't think he's even a little bit worried about that?
Because I don't think he lets her out of his sight, if that's the case.
Right, and he certainly does later on in the episode.
Sure.
Nuzzlegate.
Nuzzlegate. We'll get to that. So we find out what the drones, that they're after the drones, and so Heller acts fast, says, all right, bring the drones back in.
Shut them down.
Yeah, very good. So he ends up saying, all right, let's bring these babies home, and all of a sudden the things end up turning red and going off the grid.
Yeah, one by one.
Did you find that for 2022 military technology that our drone tracking system looks a little like 19?
Looks a little war games.
Yeah, right? Are we playing thermonuclear war?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess, cool aesthetics are cool aesthetics forever. Timeless.
It's timeless? The monochromatic drone tracking system?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so anyway, the 6 of the drones, it turns out, are not responding.
Yeah, 6 drones not in their control anymore, and that's score 1 for Team Margot.
Yeah, and so basically Heller says, get me Jack Bauer, and we got to warn the British people of what is possibly to come.
Right.
So bad news here, because this is we are on the precipice of a major international incident.
Yeah, this is really bad. Just another blow to the super capable Heller administration.
So we come back from the commercial, and there is a debriefing, and basically at the CIA headquarters that Navarro, after the briefing, tells Kate basically, yeah, we're gonna need you to turn in your badge, and basically it's over. You're done.
Yeah, I don't think that I didn't get the sense that he wanted to pull her from the field necessarily. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't feel like he wanted to, but I feel like he kind of tried a little bit and was like, I got pushed back. All right, forget it. It's over.
He's got other arguments to fight right now. Like if he's gonna get pushback on this one, he's not gonna dig his heels in and go for Kate's back. But I think if he had it his way, Kate would still be in the loop here because he recognizes that Kate is the one who bagged this up and kind of redeemed herself for whatever happened with her husband Adam. So I think that he would have rather have her there. But those soldiers are just so miffed with Kate Morgan that she's got to get sidelined here.
Well, he's also super condescending about like, Kate. I know that this is all about Adam. That it has nothing to do with you trying to do your job. You're just trying to. I get it. You just want redemption after the whole thing with your husband stole the secrets. I believe me. I understand. It's like, well, no, I'm actually trying to save millions of lives.
Yeah, this is a thing that has happened to Kate pretty much throughout this entire show. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before where Eric Ritter was like, yo, Kate, I gotta say, you're pretty good at this, I'm sorry if this is direct, but why did you not see what the hell was happening with your husband? That just seems so out of character for you. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, everybody's giving her like backhanded compliments with this, like, you're so good at your job. Like, how did you blow it so bad?
Yeah, it's tough out there for Kate Morgan.
It's tough. Okay, so we finally get to see Margot Al-Harazi's YouTube video, and basically she makes her demands of give me President Heller in 3 hours or everybody is going to die.
Yeah, Heller has faced similar situations before. His first season on 24 was death threats by YouTube, except the terrorists actually had Heller in their custody, so he's probably having a little bit of PTSD. At the moment, assuming he can remember season 4, I'm not so sure that that's on the table, given what we know of Heller right now. But yeah, he's. I would not be surprised if Heller offered himself up. That guy he's a real maverick.
He certainly is. Part of me was saying, well, why doesn't President Heller offer himself up? I mean, in some ways, wouldn't this be similar to George Mason, who, after being exposed to the radiation, gives himself up and sacrifices himself to go and drop the bomb, where Heller has this degenerative mental capacity where who knows, like, he says it's getting worse faster and faster. If he only has a couple good months left, why not give himself back up to Margot Al-Harazi?
I bet he would be totally down to do that. The problem is he's the president of the United States, and no one is going to let him do that. And we
wouldn't just give him up?
No, I don't think we would just give him up, and I don't think he would, really be able to escape and do it on his own, considering he's like 8,000 years old. Doesn't really seem to be physically up for it. But I could totally see Bauer and Heller at some point down the line kind of teaming up. Bauer being like, Mr. President, there's no way to do this unless we just offer you up. And Heller would be like, Jack, I'm totally fine with that. I would have done that 3 hours ago. So I think
like as a decoy.
Right, yeah. I think that we could end up there.
Yeah. I feel like that I get it out of principle why we wouldn't hand over the President of the United States to a bunch of terrorists. But I'm just saying that...
Like the right move.
Yeah. I mean, he's old, and he's, failing mental capacity. I'm just saying, it's sort of like, he's on a downward slope.
Yeah, I think there's more value here in letting Heller go.
Yeah.
Give Heller the hero moment.
he could be the hero.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we see the video, and then we're starting to see everybody at WikiLeaks basically shutting it down, and Adrian's packing up, and basically he doesn't want to do this anymore because of they got to move on. They got to shut everything down.
6 years of work into making Open Cell what it is, so he doesn't want that all to go down the drain for this whole thing. So yeah, he's ready to pack up and move on.
So that they're shutting everything down over there, and then we come back to that in a little bit, right?
Yeah, we will get back to that.
So then Heller is starting to be a little pissed off with Mark about his failure to let him know about the civilian casualties.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had mixed thoughts with this scene because it's like, on the one hand, yeah, he's Heller, he's the president, he has a right to be upset that he didn't have this information. But on the other hand, Heller, come on, man, you knew you were killing civilians here, right? Like you're not that dumb.
I don't know.
You knew there was collateral damage. This is what happens.
Uh, I just feel like that this is so ripped off of Homeland, this whole storyline, which is basically like the first, season or two of Homeland about, drone strikes, killing civilians, and the U.S. covering it up. And it's the same people that make both shows.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore that the people who are writing 24 Now are the people who are, the Homeland masterminds.
Yeah.
So the comparisons are fair for sure.
And in both shows, like, the bad guys are justified by saying that, like, well, these drone strikes killed innocent people, and we have to make the people pay who did these things. So it just feels very derivative, this whole storyline.
The villain storyline.
Yeah. Basically that we need to make the powers that be in the United States pay for civilian casualties from drone strikes in the Middle East.
Right.
But,
yeah. It's not. I would not put the Al-Harazis in my top 10 of 24 villains. I'll tell you that.
Well, they've been fun. I have to say
they've been fun.
I just feel like this storyline, though, is very, very derivative from Homeland's.
That's what I'm saying. Is they've definitely been fun. They've been great for entertainment value, but you can go back through the seasons of 24 and find villains who are just as fun and also have interesting stories. And I think that this story is not just kind of derivative of Homeland. I think it's kind of derivative of a lot of the villain types that we've seen on 24 before. So I don't think that they're bringing too much new to the table yet.
So I do feel what you're saying about Mark being in sort of a no-win situation, because he didn't tell President Heller, and you think at some level he is looking out for President Heller, but he's also kind of saying to President Heller, yeah, well, we didn't trust you with this information because we didn't think that you'd be able to still be able to say what you needed to say if you knew this information.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a lot of people have confidence in Heller's presidency.
Yeah, even from beforehand, even from before he had any sort of dementia.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Why didn't you let me know what was going on out there?
Exactly.
I need to know the facts. Give me the info. Yeah. And even Audrey is backing up Mark on this one.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by that. Audrey was basically like, "That's just a couple of kids. It's fine."
Yeah, Dad. No big deal.
Ice cold.
Yeah.
Ice queen.
All right. Well, whatever. So then
maybe she's the mole.
Maybe oh, that would be such a twist.
Right.
All right. So basically, Heller explains that basically the moral victory that Margot Al-Harazi has earned. And I wasn't exactly following him, but I think by the end of his point, I got what he was saying.
Yeah, that she can make this argument of, look at all the horrible things that you've done, and I'm going to start blowing innocent people away because you're not turning yourself in, and half of the people in the world are going to be on her side and not ours.
Yeah. All right, so we get to the point where now here comes Jack Bauer, and he's with Heller, and Heller is going to get right to the point, and he says that Margot has the drones under control, and Jack has a plan, but Heller's not into it.
Yeah, I really liked this scene because we know Jack, and Heller knows Jack, and I think, take the end of season 8 out of the equation where Jack went freaking crazy and just went on a murder spree and completely tarnished his reputation. I think even like Heller after season 6, when he really did not care for Jack very much on a personal level, but still understood where he was coming from professionally, I think he would have no problem being like, all right, Jack, you're the man. This is what you were born for. This is what you do. We're going to send you out there. But Jack has created a very difficult political situation based on what he did in season 8, killing all these Russian diplomats and being on the run for years. And Heller he can't afford trust it right now. So you get both points, I think. Obviously, you understand Jack because we've seen Jack do this type of thing before, and this really is Jack's wheelhouse. But Jack can't be trusted from Heller's point of view.
I just feel like we're in such a game of chicken between these two guys where...
But I kind of like that because I feel like everybody always is so quick to be like, all right, Jack, whatever you say. I like that they're like giving us, at least like an episode to kind of get us to that point because I feel like that's a little more plausible for me, especially between these two.
Yeah.
They're both very bullheaded guys.
I mean, I feel like for Jack that his offer was basically like, okay, take it or leave it. I'm perfectly content to let everybody die if you don't do it my way.
Right. Exactly.
So I felt like that, I guess that Jack is playing a game of poker here with Heller, but felt like that Jack didn't seem to have a super sense of urgency. He sort of got into it's my way or the highway.
Well, I think he's also thinking that if he gives them his contact, he has no faith that they're going to be able to execute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that looks like what next week's episode is going to be all about.
Right. And I know that while it was airing, some people were thinking like, oh, is his contact going to be Tony Almeida? Which could have been cool, but it doesn't look like that's what it's going to be.
I thought his contact was going to be Belichick.
I thought so too for a second there.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Finally give that guy something to do.
Yeah, but no. Well, we'll talk about Belichick a little bit more later. Yeah. I did like when Heller says to Jack, haven't you learned anything yet? No, he hasn't learned.
I guess he hasn't. He hasn't learned a thing.
Yeah, he said...
4 years on the run.
Yeah, I hope you consider my request while you still have time. So, yeah. Jack doesn't learn.
No, doesn't learn anything.
All right, back at the Al-Harazi house. Here's where things really spiral out of control for Naveed. Actually, they don't really spiral out of control for Naveed, but here's when I said, okay, Naveed is definitely dead.
You thought definitely dead by the end of the episode. With this
yes, at this point. When he goes to see Simone, and basically, I wrote in my notes, he doubles down here on, after Simone sold him out only like an hour ago, he says to Simone, here's what's going on. I put a thing in there to track the IP address, and we're getting out of here, right. And the cops are coming, and when the cops come, I'm going to tell them you had nothing to do with this, and this is like, oh, Naveed, you're so dead.
Yeah, totally dead. Spilling the beans, talking too much, monologuing, always a bad sign.
Although, the reason that he ended up dead really had nothing to do with this confession. It wasn't like the room was bugged. It wasn't like Simone narked on him. He just ended up being sort of an idiot about what he did, and they caught him. It wasn't that Simone ratted him out, right?
Correct. I think that is correct.
Yeah. This is just letting us know at home that how much of he's an idiot.
Yes, exactly.
But meanwhile, at the CIA headquarters, the IP address gets found, and this is where you think potentially Jordan could be the mole?
Yeah, potentially Jordan Reed, because he's the guy who finds the IP address. He's the guy who figures out where the location is. And if he's working for the Al-Harazis, this would be his opportunity to go all moly-moly on the CIA.
All right, and Navarro says, I'm running point on this one.
Yeah, he's like, I'm really in the mood to die today, so I'm going to leave the office and just do that thing where people on 24 needlessly put themselves in harm's way and get killed immediately.
Okay.
It's a good move.
When he's going out there, we come back from commercial break, and we get our Audrey and Jack scene. What'd you call this, Nuzzlegate?
Nuzzlegate.
Okay. And so basically, yeah, like two horses. They really went like beak to beak here for a while.
And I really thought we were gonna get some hard making out, but I guess they're gonna make us work for that a little harder.
It was kind of like an awkward scene. Like it was like you could tell like it was so great to have these two characters back together. But Jack is like, you shouldn't be here, and Audrey's telling him that we have a lead. There's an operation in progress. And Jack's asking, are you married? Is he good to you? And Audrey's like, I should have believed you. And Jack's like, I killed all these people. Yeah. I killed all these people. Like, and it's like, it's not like a turnoff at all.
No, she's fine with it. She's good. I kind of half expected when he's like, you're married. Are you happy? Is he good to you? For her to be kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's all right.
It's good.
It's okay.
Fine.
Can't complain.
Yeah. So, but the sexual tension, you could have cut it with a knife.
With a nose.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. So, after that scene tonight, what is your 24-mance-o-meter pointing at?
Uh, Pretty firmly in the Jack and Audrey direction. I think those two they're heating up.
Yeah.
As we would say in NBA Jam, they're heating up. They're not quite on fire yet, but we're getting there.
In fuego?
Yeah.
And then Jack and them, yeah, you need to go now. You need to go. Shutting it down.
I don't know. I think he was worried about what was going to happen next.
Such a tease. Well, you know what? That Jack really loses all of his moral high ground. No moral victory for Jack Bauer if Heller or Mark walks in the room and catches them in the midst of Nuzzlegate. Jack really is going to lose a lot of credibility there.
Yeah, big moral defeat if that happens.
Jack's move has got to be he's got to bring down Al-Harazi and then move in on Audrey.
Yeah, and then torture her husband and get him out of the picture.
That's right. All right, so I thought this was also a very cool scene when the Prime Minister shows back up.
Yeah, and it's basically like, Heller, dude, what the hell, man?
And
in
I
a
felt
British
like
accent, of course.
Heller was kind of flip with the Prime Minister. Like I felt like the Prime Minister was asking some really good questions. He's like, yeah, I know. Can you believe this? This is crazy stuff. That these guys, they're using our own things against us. They're gonna.
That's how I felt about like when they were going over what the possible damage of the drone attacks could be like. And I think it was the second segment of the episode, and his military advisor is going over everything, and Heller's basically like laughing in his face, being like, "It could blow up a city? Oh my God, that's horrible!"
Yeah.
Like take this a little seriously, James. Come on.
Because I kind of feel like the Prime Minister, like, appropriately was basically like, oh, you mean the thing that you came to me with, that you wanted to do, that you said wouldn't have any problems, was going to go smoothly, which everybody got mad at me for letting you do, is now going to completely blow up in our face. Yeah, how about that?
It's so weird.
That's so crazy.
Do you guys have sandwiches?
So I felt bad for the Prime Minister here.
Yeah, I did too. Well, this guy has really stuck himself out there for James Heller, and it is not paying off.
Yeah. Although then they said, well, don't worry, we got a feed. We're gonna watch out. We got this whole closed circuit camera set up, and so they're gonna be a hell of a show. It's gonna be a hell of a show, and so they're like, okay, so we got a lead, so don't worry about it or anything. And basically, this is like the Al-Harazi summer home that they're going to.
Is that's where they think that they're going to, or do you think that's where they ended up? Do you think they blew up their abandoned summer home?
I think they had some other property. I mean, there was nobody living there.
It's a very nice property to just blow up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would imagine it was some sort of other Al-Harazi residence, but that being said, I mean, we don't know for sure.
Downton Al-Harazi?
Yeah. It might have just been some abandoned house.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
So as that's going on, okay, so we have Kate Morgan is on the phone with Chloe and says, Kate Morgan is suspicious about this.
Yeah, she doesn't have a good feeling.
She doesn't have a good feeling about it. So she talks to Chloe. Chloe tells her to open a socket, and Chloe is able to patch herself in. And basically, back at the Al-Harazi house, then we have Naveed looks at his watch, and Margot's all over him. They're not coming.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah.
The jig is up.
The jig is up. And so basically, we have then Naveed gets taken away by these security forces.
Yeah, that's it. And at this point, if it's not already clear that Naveed is toast, Naveed is gone by the end of the hour. You know it at this point.
Yeah, I think Naveed knows it by the end of this point.
He's like, oh, damn it.
So Adrian is pushing Chloe out the door, so she has to get out of here, and Belichick has his, hey, you get your damn hands off her moment.
Right, yeah. Chloe's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So Belichick is, basically you have this like Serbian sort of guy who's just like a mercenary who's just been sitting around like drinking coffee for the last 4 hours.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a pretty unfair matchup. I think that, Adrian Cross has a lot of nuts to think that he can go up against Belichick.
Yeah. So basically, he lets Chloe hang out there.
But
and
not until he drops an L-bomb.
yeah, he says, "I love you, Chloe." And so, was that a romantic "I love you, Chloe"?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a free love type of thing. Maybe he loves everybody at Open Cell.
Boy, that was that was just out there.
Yeah. And she didn't say anything. It's kind of rude.
What was worse, that or Han Solo and Princess Leia when he's about to go into the carbonite?
I think at least he says "I know," so it's some sort of acknowledgement of the comment. Chloe just didn't say anything.
Yeah. Chloe's
that was so Chloe.
Like, oh my God, Adrian, just get out of here.
Ew, gross. I don't like that.
Ew. Oh, as if. I just wanted to work here for summer. God.
Yeah. Not enjoying it.
All right, so Steve Navarro is leading the field team, and we start to know that things are not...
Hold on. Just to go back to Jordan Reed the mole, who's definitely a mole. There's a moment where Kate calls up Chloe to be like, hey, can you look into this thing for me? There's this IP address that we found. And Chloe goes, oh, wow, you guys found something like that? You should give that guy a raise, which means it wasn't easy to find. So either Jordan Reed is very good at his job or he was tipped off.
But I don't think that it was I don't think he's a mole, because basically what Naveed said was, I put something in there that would lead them back to us. And then they said, oh, well, we found what you were going to do, and we basically sent them in a different direction. So I didn't find that it was necessarily that it had to be somebody tipped them off that this was. Like, it seemed like it was almost like a Trojan horse that they ended up stumbling onto.
I don't know. I guess that Ian kid is pretty talented.
He's pretty good. He's basically, whatever you throw at him, he's really good at.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
He picks things up very quickly. So basically, now we have to keep the Star Wars references going, a Admiral Akbar situation.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It's a trap. Get out of there. And so they basically start getting everybody out of there. Navarro runs out of the building, but it seems like a lot of guys didn't get out, and drone attack is successful.
Boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah. What'd you think of the drone special effects?
This is fine. It's about what I expect for 24. Not bad.
Okay.
Not great.
All right, so big explosion, and boom. Chalk went up for the Al-Harazis.
Yeah, Al-Harazis are ahead of the game right now.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
It's kind of a shutout at this point.
It's kind of a shutout. And so then we get one more scene with Margot comes and talks to Naveed and says, Naveed, guess what? Seems like Ian is he can fly the drones.
He's
so
pretty
you know
good
what
at
that
this
means.
drone thing. He's pretty good.
You know what that means, right?
It's that thing that was inevitable as of 3 episodes ago. It's gonna happen now.
Yeah. So she basically takes the gun, and he's like, "Oh, please, don't do anything. Simone doesn't want you to do this." And I thought she was gonna make Simone shoot Naveed.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good call. I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah. I felt like that might have been more to Naveed, but Naveed's got to be just like, his last thoughts are like, "Oh boy, I really screwed this up."
Yeah, did not plan this well.
Okay. Boom, and that's the end. We're at 4 o'clock now.
4 o'clock.
Now, we haven't skipped any hours yet. I know that was part of the build-up. We've had basically 5 straight hours, starting at 11 a.m., going all the way to 4 p.m. When do you think we're going to skip some time?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself. We're getting to hour 6 next week, and after next week, we're past the halfway mark.
Are you sure they're still going to do that? Like, they're not just going to do 12 hours straight through?
That's what they said that they were going to do. In all of their interviews leading up to it and all of the talk about the show in promotion, they were saying that they're going to skip around a little bit, but it's worth scratching your head over. At this point, it's starting to feel like, well, can they do it? So I don't know.
I wonder if we're going to like reach like a halfway point where we're going to sort of like have a reset where basically like we catch Al-Harazi and basically then like skip to like 4 hours later or something like that.
Right, and then some new threat rears its head.
Yeah. So then next week it looks like Jack is going to get Kate Morgan officially on his side, and then go talk to this arms dealer guy.
Right.
So we'll see what happens next Monday night here on 24 Live. You ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's jump into this, and let's start with Timothy Kyle Tucker. Wants to know, is the lack of chemistry between Mark and Audrey written to look weak, or is it bad acting or script? What do you think about or is it good acting that they have no chemistry?
Yeah, I don't know. You're not feeling the heat between these two, are you, Rob?
Well, I don't think there's meant to be any heat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I think it's more Mark is into Audrey. Audrey likes Mark. I don't feel like they necessarily have the fireworks that Audrey and Bauer used to have. So, yeah, I think that it's just supposed to be a little bit thinner than the romances we've seen on the show, the ones that really pop.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think they're good actors.
Yeah, I think that they're both good actors. I think Audrey especially is a good actor.
Yeah.
What else have we seen Mark in?
He's Jimmy Cooper from the OC.
The OC?
He's Tom Shays from Damages. He's from a bunch of stuff. Love Potion #9. Tate
Donovan. Oh, Love Potion #9. That's what I know him most from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Joshua on Friends, I believe.
There you go. All right. Let's take a question from Phil. And Phil wants to know, how do you guys think the rest of the cast carried this episode's first half with zero Jack? I felt like it really stacked up, and it was entertaining even without Jack. They wrote and cast the season extremely well. It was very captivating. So what do you think about the first half of the episode? Did you miss Jack Bauer?
I think I'm with Phil. I think that's one of the things that this season has done really well, and I think right out the gate, it was one of the compliments that I paid the show after the premiere is I really like the cast. I think that this is one of the first seasons in a long time with a cast of people that I really care about top to bottom, just because I think that they're well acted, they're defined by very simple, identifiable traits with small stories that you can kind of connect to right away. Yeah, I feel like I've known Kate Morgan for a little while. I even feel like I know Eric Ritter a bit. The White House or the president storyline really works because clearly you know Heller and you know Audrey, but I think Mark Boudreau has really popped. So yeah, I think they're all pretty good. There aren't, and even the Al-Harazis are very entertaining, even if I don't think that their story is super compelling. They're very fun to watch, and I'm sad to see Naveed go in a way. So I think I think that the extra characters outside of the Bauer and Chloe stuff, I think a lot of these people are pretty fun to watch.
Okay, we have a couple more questions from the chat room. Chris Berger wants to know, what happened to Lieutenant Tanner?
What did happen to Lieutenant Tanner? Well,
is he off the hook now, so they just let him go?
Yeah, he has to go make Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay, what is his character in Star Wars?
I don't think we know any of the characters in the new Star Wars, but he has first billing, so I think you can assume that he's going to be the main guy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Big
means.
Step up for Lieutenant Tanner.
Yes, promotion. Okay. Luke Foodie wants to know, is it possible that Jack has turned heel for real? Kate Morgan seems to be standing in for him a little too much. Has Jack turned into a bad guy?
No, because I think that we would have seen him kill those soldiers last week. He wouldn't have really given an F. I think he would have just gone for it.
Yeah. Do you feel like Jack Bauer and Kate Morgan's story is too similar, that they're both having to go rogue from their respective government agencies, and basically the government is telling both of them, all right, you guys are off the force, and both of them have to sort of keep breaking the rules?
No, I like it. I think it's cool that it gives them kind of a connecting point, and it certainly seems to be, the season seems to be building to a place where they are going to be buddy, where they're going to be on the field together, and they're going to be partners, and they're going to be, solving this thing together. So I think having them kind of run on parallel paths, I think, is pretty good. I think that works for me.
Luke Foodie wants to know, how would House Al-Hazari do on Game of Thrones? Okay.
Yeah.
First, what would their sigil be?
Don't be Naveed.
A drone?
Don't be Naveed would be their sigil, would be their motto.
Would it be so? Would it be
Yeah,
a drone?
a drone, and the house words are "Don't be Naveed."
How about Navita? No. Okay.
Live in La Vida Loca.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Is that what you're going for?
That's what I was going for. Okay. Or Inagata Navita.
There you go.
That's in Valerian. Okay.
Right, High Valyrian.
And so, what do you think of their house? Would that be a good would they be a feared house?
I think so. I mean, they've got power. You know, they basically have like the modern day equivalent of dragons. So there's something a little Targaryen there going on.
Yeah, and they could marry off Simone still, even if she only has 9 good fingers. That's still pretty good for Westeros.
Yeah, I think for Westeros that's okay. I mean, like slightly damaged goods, but it'll work.
Yeah. All right. All right. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
drones versus dragons. I think they would be good allies for the Lannisters.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So, it was Memorial Day. We want to thank Jack Bauer for his service to our country. We will not forget. And also, in all seriousness, thank you very much to all of the real life people that have served and helped, make this a world in which Josh and I can talk about nonsense a bunch of times every week. And thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So we will be back next Monday night for more 24 Live, as we are going to, after next week, be at the halfway point for 24 Live Another Day.
That's crazy. This season is flying by.
Flying by. Like a drone.
Like a drone. Much like a drone.
A rogue drone.
Yeah, it really is. It feels like somebody has hijacked this season, is just piloting it away from us, and we're losing track of it. So, I don't know. It's going so fast.
It's going very fast. Okay, so that is what's going to be next Monday night. Josh, Game of Thrones is going to be back this week. They took Memorial Day off, but they will be back next Sunday night as well.
Yes, I am very excited. I felt a little lost without Game of Thrones this week.
Yeah,
I will be honest.
All right, well, we're coming up with the final 3 weeks on post-show recaps of Game of Thrones coverage, and we're going to do our Game of Thrones feedback show as well this week, and so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we'll have a book club as well. I'm still working out the details with Terry in terms of scheduling, but that'll be happening this week as well.
All right, good stuff. Don't miss any of it. Subscribe to Post-Show Recaps on iTunes. Go to postshowrecaps.com/iTunes or click the podcast tab to subscribe to any of our shows, including the 24 podcasts at postshowrecaps.com/24 iTunes. All right, Josh, have a great night. Thanks to everybody who watched us live, and still also thank you to the people who listen to the archives as well. We always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you again soon.